to alarm you, but I feel like I'm being spoiled because week after week after week, I get to speak to legends. And today was no different because I spoke to Delta Goodrem. Let me tell you, it is so unbelievably awe-inspiring to see the person behind the craft. We spoke about what she was watching, what she's been eating, what hobbies she has. Also, we got to dive deep into her creative process, how cathartic it can be to share your true self with your audience. And she's just incredible. I want to be her friend so badly. I feel like we had a connection. But watch the interview. I swear, you'll love it. Hey everyone, it's Flex and welcome to Build Series Sydney. Now I've talked to a few amazing people, a few legends, but none like our guest today, singer, songwriter, just an all-round awesome person, Delta Goodrem. Who would have thought? I had to play cool just before we were setting up because I didn't want to freak out, but this is fun.
Awesome. You've done such beautiful interviews that I was having a look at, and I love all your messaging, and so thanks so much for having me on your show.
My absolute pleasure. Now, before we get into the good stuff, the music stuff, I always just want to get a bit of context for who our amazing guests are as people. I know the Delta as a musician, the person I follow on Instagram, but I would love to understand who you are when there are no cameras, no lights, no audience. What do you do? What do you eat? What are you binge watching? What's happening?
I'm pretty relaxed when I'm outside of work, I have to say. I am pretty neat and tidy around here, but at the same time, I've got my own way of chaos. But I do love my Netflix every single night. Binging Love on the Spectrum, binging. I loved the Michael Jordan documentary, and I think I'm going to watch it again. So that's me.
Now, you have had a hectic 2020. I'd say as a society and a world, we've all had, you know, a pretty interesting time, but you especially have done so much. And I want to start with a brand new single, Solid Gold, because I'm just so surprised that musicians have been able to, like, you know, hunker down and still release full bodies of work that haven't been impacted by what's happening around them. So can you tell us a bit more about that track?
Well, to start with, like you're saying, I think that the process of this year obviously was completely different to what we all had planned, but I do think that understanding that change is always going to happen and you have to adapt quickly and you have to adapt and find, like, it's a constant, you know, I had my record the way I imagined the year, but then you go, all right, change that idea. I've learned in my life how quickly anything can just change your entire world. So I think I allowed myself to be the human being that felt the gravity of what people were about to experience and what they were, my worry for my fellow humans. I went through all those first response feelings where I just went quiet and watched the news and I listened and then I you know had to go, okay, what do I do my part in the world? And then I started the idea of that. I know in challenging times, I've always said I have to have something to look forward to. So then I said, okay, well, let's try and learn how to live stream once a week. And so I did the Bunker Down sessions and all these kind of interesting, you have to then find ways to share and connect with people through technology. And being a very in-person, tactile, I like to be present with people I'm with, or that I had to learn a whole new way of being able to connect and reach out to people that are a part of my journey through music, through my phone, and learning how to do, you know, the Global Citizens was like the first performance that I had to learn how to film and put the cameras and to change the modes. And I really can't believe how much I've learned in this time, but it's also about finding ways to obviously think outside, go deeper in our communication, and also go deeper in our ability to stay in our space but think outside, you know.
Love it. And is that the perspective you used to write your new album?
So the new song came from about self-worth, about being aware of when something that no longer serves you needs to go, and something that feeling of, you know, somebody not recognizing your worth and knowing, and you standing up for that and saying, you know, like, I'm going to take your bad heart and I'm going to turn it into a small dot, which means make it smaller than what it needs to be. Let's not see this bigger than it needs to be. And then the playfulness of I'm going to make you remember that what you had was always solid gold. So it's kind of the pressure makes diamonds, the idea of it turning, and you know, so
we got it. The point was very clear. I was like, the visuals, making it small. Here you are, shining, sparkling. Okay, but also I noticed there are 2 video clips, right? There's one of you in an amazing leotard, Fleetwood Mac moment, bookshelf. And there's also like the sparkle one where you're giving me like diamonds, crystals, piano. Yeah. Is there a third coming? What's happening?
You know what? I'm in my little office and I have a lot of boards with my visuals because I really love marrying visuals. Since the day I started music, I made scrapbooks that were visuals for my records. And for Solid Gold, I got together with this beautiful, like all-female army of like creatives, a small group of us that went and just had so much fun creating, you know, that kind of Sparkle World was about your inner light and very inspired by Elton John and kind of having my top hat and being playful. And then the library was about the education of educating somebody. So it's all intercut with what the song means. And there's another couple of worlds coming out. I might have gone ham on having fun with all of the visuals, but you know, it's what we do.
So what space are you in right now? Is this the way you create? Can we see a little bit, or is that too much?
Oh.
Is it camera ready?
Oh my God, I'm in my office. That wall is my to-do lists and my pictures, and this is just some of this is the little bit of an office.
It's incredible though. I just feel like it's such a privilege to be able to see not only a conceptualized artwork, but to understand like what happens behind the scenes, and hearing that a musician has an office, love it. You know, it's incredible. Yes. It almost normalizes what is such a real and honest experience.
I think that's one of the main things. I think people, when we do the voice, like the kids, the artists, they, you know, they see behind the curtain. You're like, oh yeah, there's no magical elves that go and you have to make it happen. Like you got to work, like you got to work hard, and you got to have a vision and a meaning, and you know, and these are the things that we talk about a lot on the voice, and but I think that I love fantasy, so I don't mind that people see it as like, oh, there's our game, yes, and then I'm like this at the end of the day.
And
it's all right. And see, yeah.
But it feels like a very, I don't want to say 2020, but a very new thing for us as consumers to be able to see behind the final product. That feels as though
for sure
was an expectation for a long time. And it wasn't even a question of whether we could. It's like you didn't. You got an album, you got a single, you got a music video, and maybe a director's cut at the very most. But nowadays, there's this almost an expectation, but also an appreciation to understand, well, who is the artist that I'm enjoying? You know, like who are you? What's going on?
Yeah.
And I saw you did a bit of that when you released your I guess explanation for the Paralyzed song and video, and that resonated with so many people. And I mean, part of me, I get like, I don't know if it makes me emotional, but I just think it's so much to ask of an artist, not only go through what they go through, share it in a conceptual form, and then let us know exactly what that was like. I couldn't believe it. I'm just so incredibly grateful that I could get to see that. What inspired you to share your journey and your story in such a raw and real way?
Well, thank you for your beautiful words on it, firstly. But I'd say that it's an interesting path when you have been, you know, sort of grown up in the public eye, and you're in it because I love music and I love the arts and I love making TV, and I enjoy, like I shared the fantasy of it. But when it came to Paralyzed, you know, not having a record when I had said I was going to have a record, and not sharing that time frame, then releasing Paralyzed, I didn't share the story straight away. I didn't even know when I would be ready or if I would, or that was my own private journey. That then I started to see people finding the song and kind of, especially those who really, really travel with me on my musical path, you know, sort of thinking that it was about one of my earlier life health challenges. And I sort of started to think, okay, all right, I you know what, as an artist, here I am sharing that this is where the work and the new work comes from. It comes from my own personal reset. And this was a couple of years ago now. I feel strong to share this now, but this is something people deal with every single day still, and being very, very aware that a lot of people are going through so much, but shining a light on a reminder that you really don't ever know what someone's going through. So we have to continually be very kind to each other in moments. You don't know what someone's going through, especially this year, and Paralyzed had that, that concept of that when everything, all of my plans have been silenced, everything has stopped. And it sounded like I had written it about going through a pandemic with everybody. And I was like, even I was spooked when I read the lyrics. I was like, Dr. Pause This Life, you told me you won't fly, cancel everything. You need some time to heal, might take a year, reset the clocks again. And I thought, well, maybe this song was meant to happen for a reason, and it's for other people's reset right now. So I sent it out. It wasn't going to be my first song out of the gate, but it came from a heart space of this year, we've all got to keep pivoting.
It's so interesting how, as a consumer, it's so easy to center yourself in your favorite artist's work. Like, Delta was speaking for me. That was my plight. And you're like, yeah, I'm glad it resonates, but also there's so much that you don't see. And, when you saw those, I guess, misinterpretations of your work, did you want to share to clear up the misinterpretation, or share because there was a part of you that wanted people to see you for exactly what you were going through and not, the curated version that they could see through a finished song?
It's a great question. No, I think that it's, I'm a pretty open book in general. I think, I've tried my best through the years to navigate between still having parts of me that can be mine and still sharing myself with everyone. But no, I want people to take, as an artist, I want people to take on my songs as their own. That's my goal, is that they say to me, this is like what I'm feeling, this is my life. Songs are meant to be on the outside what we feel on the inside, and that connection in the moment. It's meant to, like, I would hope that they listen to that song and they said, that's my story, rather than hearing my story. I actually hesitate to share my story sometimes because I want people to have their own story to the songs. So no, I think it just, as a body of work of what's coming up and where I'm at as an artist, I think that part, and also sharing for someone who's going through something like that. I know that I couldn't find any videos when I was online. Like, I just couldn't find anything when I was going through it. And I thought, well, somebody who might be facing a paralysis or nerve damage or something that might be happening, I think I would appreciate that from what I experienced.
You have this incredible way of, again, balance and perspective, like recognizing that a situation can be difficult and tough, but also appreciating what's come from that. And you have this certain sense of lightness about you. It's really lovely to experience. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm taking it for what it is. It's really nice.
That's very kind. Thank you.
You also do that really well. I was scrolling through your Instagram, as one does, and I came
following you. Thank you very much.
It can happen later. But the good newsroom, like, first of all, wordplay, love it. The English literature linguist in me loves it. I love wordplay. But secondly, the intention behind it is so groundbreaking, in the sense that I know a lot of us lament that when we turn on the news, it's just negative story after negative story, tragedy, sadness, death, and maybe one lighter thing to wrap it up. And it really feels like, gosh, can we just relax a little bit? And then you come in, deciding that, I'm going to be the person that gives you just a breath of sunshine today.
Monday morning motivations with the Good Newsroom team. Me and my girlfriend Renee, we have such a laugh. The first couple times when we were trying to do that, we couldn't even get through the news without laughing. And then the last episode we did, then of course we said to each other, okay, I'm not going to show you the news stories I'm doing. And so when we were showing each other the Instagrams of these people, like the happy tears, so we were like, okay, we can't do that either. So it's really fun. We just wanted to bring something lighthearted and fun, to people. It's fun.
As you do so well. And I'm mindful that we only have a few more minutes together, but I wanted to ask you about your 2021 tour. Not only are you going on tour, but you've had to move to bigger venues because we all want a piece.
You will be coming to this tour. You are coming to the shows. So it is so much fun. It is my favorite part of, like, when you're face to face and everyone's singing and dancing and anything can kind of happen. I like structure, but it has to be at the same time. It's no audience is the same. And we're so grateful. I mean, we've been checking in at all times. Safety is number one. But at the moment, we're still April, May next year, and people have been buying the tickets to the tour, and so it's incredible. We're having the light at the end of the tunnel of live music again in Oz, and so come along. It'll be really, really fun.
Well, that in mind, thank you so much for sharing yourself with us, your songs, your stories, your anecdotes, your jokes, lightheartedness. I really, really appreciate it. And I will see you on tour next April and May, and so will everybody else watching this. And in the meantime, they can stream, buy, and download Solid Gold. Thank you.
Yes, they can. Thank you.